I've never ever had this much fun making a movie. It was very, very hard. Don't get me wrong, but I always, every day, I woke up eager to go to work. I discovered myself smiling several times a week, like, like enjoying it, and I truly wanted to. It's very difficult to explain in other ways, but it's an incredibly complex movie that one of the biggest complexities was to keep it simple. I really wanted to, I made this movie for me at age 11. And for any kid, no matter what your age is bodily, your bodily age is like 11 years old. And I really think that many of the movies now always try to over-neurotize and psychoanalyze and go existential on pop themes. And I wanted to sort of show kids effortless heroism and do it in a way that is not dependent on one ideology, one country, or a bellicist thing. Like, I wanted them to be the resistance. I wanted them to be from every country, from every race, creed, color, and so on and so forth. But I wanted to keep it really almost the arc of one character is the arc of all the characters. I can I elaborate on that a little bit, because what I didn't want one guy saving the whole world all on his own. I certainly didn't want all the aliens in every movie. They get one map that points to New York, right. And I wanted to show
Denver. Where are you?
Denver, the bread basket. And they really. I wanted to have it. One of the movies that inspired me, we were talking about it on the Wings, are the weirdest references. Aside from kaiju and mecha, I got a lot of inspiration from sports movies.
Did not see that.
I was like watching Hoosiers, Friday Night Lights, the Miracle. I was watching sports movies because I thought the analogy for me was a guy that was out of the game for 5 years and was coming back after an injury.
This is Rocky III.
It was, well, it could be. Certainly the Russians look like Dolph. I just think I wanted to allow this movie to exist in a plane where kids today could enjoy it the way I enjoyed them, the giant kaiju movies when I was a kid, which is using every technical tool to my advantage to really make them believe in the size of the monsters, which in itself is a very complex exercise. But also, I wanted them to be able to enjoy it without having to have what I think is a negative moral repercussion, where I think you can see the movie and the scale, for example, is so exaggerated and so peppered with comedy and so void of victims. I made it a point that I never wanted victims. I didn't want to have people on the street or in a bus or in a car, that we could really just do this, the joy that you had as a kid when you knew they were models as a kid, but here to look real, but not to be worrying, oh, that's a fun sequence where 300 people just got crushed.
Of course, yeah. See, that exhilaration feels guilty.
Because also kaijus are beautiful because you don't feel there is any repercussion in the real world. There's no chance a kaiju in Oklahoma is going to watch the movie and go out and try to destroy a shopping mall. We have a relationship with technology in the West that is guilty. We always think of technology like Frankenstein. Ultimately it'll turn against us. The Japanese just love technology. They truly love it. And the mecha is a celebration of this technology, building gigantic warriors, basically from heaven, mythological size warriors, and that's how I look at the Jaegers. I am 48 executing the movie. I'm 11 looking at the movie, and they don't have this guilt. With the monsters, with the kaiju, to answer your question, with the kaiju, there is. In Japan, there was such a bonding with the kaiju, partially because Japan has always integrated the sort of magical and mythological in their culture through the yokai, and through, there's always a living entity in everything, and everything has a guardian, an elemental guardian. And Godzilla came in. The first try was to make him a terrible monster, partially modeled after the dynamics of Kong or Ray Harryhausen's Beast, and so on and so forth. And then eventually, what resulted is that this creature helped heal the wounds from World War II, and it became an elemental guardian of Japan. And from then on, in a kaiju movie, it doesn't matter if the kaiju is good or bad, you love them all. Obviously, this is a science fiction. Generically, it would be science fiction, but you're very right that visually, I treated it like a fantasy. I very decidedly made the point of not treating it like a super polished sci-fi, fluorescent light, high-tech, cool-looking, sexy machines. I'm going to treat it like a fantasy film. To the point where the memory of Mako for me is a little princess being saved from a dragon by a knight in shining armor. And that's the way I tried to put an almost poetic little spirit in that memory. And the fantasy colors, and the one kaiju is like a dragon almost, and so on and so forth. So, for me, fantasy has a visual coding, and then it has a literary or thematic coding. Those are two different things. So thematically, this would be, in theory, science fiction. I'm more interested in the fiction than in the science, evidently. but so all I need to see, my storytelling depends on very much a once upon a time, where I say, once upon a time there was a rift in the ocean that took you to another dimension. That's it.